And hey, good morning. Welcome to Breakthrough Walls. I'm Ken Walls. I'm your host, and I got to tell you today, we had a bit of a mix up with the scheduling for who I was going to have on. Good morning, Cindy. Good morning, Jim. Who I was going to have on as a guest today, and so I said, you know what? Let's just, instead of panicking, because I'm good at that. Like I said, let's just do a replay of one of my favorite people on planet Earth. And that is Lisa Copeland. I've built two different websites. My wife and I, our team, we built two different websites for her. Hey, Jennifer, Sandy, Andrea, how you guys doing? We built lisacopeland.com, and we just finished up carsherway.com. And this woman, if you don't know who Lisa Copeland is, you wait until you see this interview. So I'm going to do a replay of her interview with me from back in May the 4th. I'm gonna replay this and let you guys just check out Lisa. So I'll be here. I'll be watching comments and stuff, but I'm going to do a replay of my interview with Lisa Copeland. So hope you guys enjoy this. She's an amazing lady, and I mean, she is a serious rock star. So let me go ahead and get this started, and I mean, at the end, I'm just going to end it, and you guys have a fantastic day, and we will see you tomorrow. I have an unbelievable guest scheduled for tomorrow, so I'm pretty excited. But hey, we'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to go ahead and start this replay of my interview with Lisa Copeland from back on May the 4th. So I'll see you guys later. Great long video, but listen, I'm going to go ahead and I want to bring Lisa in. And Lisa, welcome to the show. I'm genuinely grateful that you're on here with me. I like, introduce yourself.
Well, hi, everybody. I hope everyone's doing great out there. Well, thank you for having me. I'm so excited, and I'm going to wrap my own self out. For those who know me on your show, we all know why Ken Walls had technical difficulties, and it would be his guest this morning. You just need to move to Texas, Ken. I'm serious.
Move to Austin. I've never been.
Yeah, move to Austin.
Hey,
yeah, there's a house for sale next door. That way, you can run my entire studio.
Yeah.
Like you're hired.
Hey, I want to know, because I have a couple of people saying no sound. No
Uh-oh.
sound. Uh-oh. Can you guys hear? Can somebody let me know if you can hear? Laura Peterson said, yes, I agree, move to Texas. So obviously they can hear you. So
Hi, Laura. I can't see Facebook Live, so I can't talk to anybody.
It may have been the YouTube video or something. I don't know. So my apologies for any technical errors on my side.
Well, I'm just bad luck.
No, you're not. You're amazing. And I've gotten to know you super well over the last 6, 7, 8 months, I suppose. And holy moly, like every time I'm talking to you, you're getting on a jet headed somewhere. I'm like, jeez.
A plane heading nowhere.
Yeah.
My life.
So this show is, it's called Breakthrough Walls today, and it's really about, I mean, you're the author of a book, co-authored with Renee Bangelsdorf, right? Bangelsdorf?
Yep.
Did I get that right?
You got that right.
So called Crushing Mediocrity. I do not have a copy of it because I gave it away to somebody and I haven't replaced it. There it is. So Crushing Mediocrity. And you are far from mediocre, far from it. And I just kind of want to, because I also know that you've been through all the crap in life, right? You've been through all of it. And so I want to help. Somebody asked me the other day, why are you doing this show? And I'm like, because I think there's a lot of people stuck, and I just want to be a loud siren to help people get unstuck. I want to bring badasses like Lisa Copeland on my show and impart some of your wisdom on people. So, let's
Sure.
start with first thing is like, where did you grow up? Where did it all start for Lisa?
Well, then I'm going to have to talk about how old I am, right?
Uh,
But anyways, I'm going to tell you that, but I'm going to tell you, I love the name of your show, Breakthrough Walls. I think it is brilliant. So
that's
there is my high level, consulting, tip for you. It's fantastic. So,
Thank you.
I grew up out in Northern California, out in the San Jose, area. And
Oh,
I was there until about, I guess I was a junior in high school. And then I came to Texas and I never left.
I did not know you were from California.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Holy
Yes.
moly. So, and you said you came to Texas when?
My junior year of high school.
Okay. So, what part you came to Austin?
No, Arlington, Dallas, Fort Worth area.
Oh, okay. And then, so how did you end up in
In
Austin?
Austin. I was working for a car dealer. A crazy story. I won't even bore anybody with it, but I worked for a car dealer in Dallas, and then he ended up buying a store in Austin. And that was about, let's see, my daughter's 29, 30. It was about 31 years ago. He bought a store in Austin, and it was a chance for me to get a promotion because I was able to come down here and be the finance manager. So we moved down here so I could be the finance manager for this Chevy store. And then within 8 weeks, he was in receivership. And for those of you who don't know that, that means he did bad things. And General Motors came in and shut us down. And I found myself kind of like, we moved to Austin and my store was shut down. What do you do next? But you know what you do? You survive, right? You figure it out.
Yep. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. But I can tell you, I'm super grateful that we came to Austin because we love Austin, and it's been a really good place to raise my kids.
That's awesome. I've never been to Austin ever.
I told you, you and your wife have an invite. I've got a guest suite upstairs, and y'all just take it over. But you have to work on all my computer stuff, which is what I'm going to charge you for rent.
Right. Right. Well, first I'm taking you to Best Buy and we're getting you an iMac.
There you go.
Oh.
But then you're going to have to stay long enough to teach me how to use it.
Right. It's so easy. But so let me ask you this, because I think, and I've said this on talking to other guests, I think that as we grow up as children, there's always somebody, something that kind of has a bearing or an impact on us and kind of helps form what we're going to become as adults. So I'd like to ask you, like, what is like a memorable moment or an impactful moment in your life as a child growing up? What that maybe related to how it may have shaped who you are today?
Yeah, and I've never told this story, so you're about to get the scoop.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so when I was 15, my mom was she was a PhD student. I guess that's higher than a grad student. I never went that high in college. So, anyways, she went back to school to get her PhD, which we were super proud of her. And so, so we lived in San Jose and she was going to school in Berkeley. And so I'm sure she's going to be watching this. My mom watches all my videos. And, so I decided, and so my dad was a pretty big avid car collector. And so my mom had a 1976 Jaguar XJS. That was the first year that Jag XJS came out, and it was a V12. So, I made the decision like any good 15-year-old would do, who was truly a latchkey kid, but in love, because my dad was traveling around the world. He was a Silicon Valley executive, an entrepreneur.
Wow.
And my mom was in Berkeley getting her PhD. So I had parents that were very high achievers, amazing people.
Jeez.
And I decided to take that car out for a spin one day.
Oh,
And I'm going to tell, oh yeah, it gets better. But, and I'm going to tell everybody out there, I drove that car all over town. But do you know where I wrecked it? On the corner of my street.
No.
Because I had never been through driver training before because I was 15 and I didn't know that you're supposed to yield to the right. So I just went blaring through like this four-way stop we lived on a super long street that had like another street that cut through it, but not a busy street. And so I just kept going and I ended up hitting a 1965 classic Corvair. So of course I did, right? So, I wrecked my mom's like beautiful Jag, and then I ended up hitting a classic car. So to this day, I don't know what that cost my dad to buy me out of that mess, but he had to write a check. I can tell you that. So that one was pretty memorable, and I've never told the story before.
Wow.
And I know my mother's going to be watching. Mom, I'm sorry about your Jag, because I think I still hear about it from 1976.
Mom, I'm sorry I brought that out of her.
Yeah, you're the only one that ever has, Ken. So there you go.
Wow. Hank Norman said that.
That really taught me my rebel side, because you talk about latchkey kids, and I was a latchkey in a good way, right? Because my parents were so on the ball, and they were wonderful parents and all of that. I had a great life.
Yeah. I
was just truly independent, and you leave kids, you give kids enough time, they're going to get in trouble. I don't care who they are.
Yeah, you did. So
and I did. Oh, did I? Well, that's just one story, but that's a good one from the car community.
That's a good one. So do you feel like maybe to a degree, because I truly believe, because you're an entrepreneur, I truly believe that you have to have a bit of a rebel kind of, up yours, kind of
in your face.
Don't tell me what to do.
That's right. I'm the boss of me. I'm the boss of me.
Right.
Yes.
Like, you kind of have to be successful. You have to have that kind of, I think you have to have that drive, right?
Yeah. And I definitely got that piece from my dad. He was a serial entrepreneur out in Silicon Valley, and started many software. Oh, I guess, well, it was like, so we owned companies that were 8-track tape, video cassette tape. So that wouldn't be software, would it? I don't think they had software back then. But anyways, my dad was a true entrepreneur. And, I loved the stories how in the 70s, how he put everything we had on the line to go borrow money at 18% to fund one of our factories. And thank you, God, it worked out. And my mom and I just talked about it the other day. And she's like, I didn't know until 25 years later, your father finally fessed up to me that everything we had was on the line. Back in the 70s, but, so that he could fund his new, another one of our factories, one of our cassette factories. And so, I think I get that risk from him, that it's just like, you know what? If it doesn't work, we'll do something different. And, Jim Ziegler was on my show the other day, and I know you and I talked about this, and I love what he said. He said, you can sell your way out of anything. You can sell your way out of any problem. So if you're a salesperson, it's like, I'm going to roll the dice because the payoff's big. And if it doesn't work, I'm going to go figure something else out. And I'm going to roll again.
I had 2 clients, these awesome dudes that were here at our house all day yesterday. They're both former Amish. And
I saw that.
Oh God, they're so amazing. These guys are freaking rock stars, but they're younger, and they said, well, what piece of advice would you give us? And I'm like, dude, I honestly, I don't know. I know this about me, and maybe it's a mental deficiency. I'm not sure, but I am willing to spend my last freaking dollar on a risk to be successful. Like, I'm willing to put it all out there. So,
which is why you're successful, Ken, because you cannot be risk adverse and be an entrepreneur.
You can't. You have to be willing to put it all on the line. And if
every single day.
That's why people say, well, I want to do this side hustle thing. And I've always gone, I can't help you with that, because I don't do side hustle. Like, I do all in hustle. And
that is true success. You can't play. For a piece of advice for your viewers, I learned a long time ago, you got to focus, number one, which I really have to make myself do. But I've learned that when I really buckle down on something, you can't stop me.
Right.
But when I'm trying to buckle down on 3 things at one time, it's like, I end up getting mediocre results.
Yeah, that's right. I'll bet that's in that book you wrote, isn't it?
It sure is. Let's see, chapter 6, page, 126, paragraph 3.
Everybody go to Amazon right now and buy her book. Or is there a better place to buy it?
No, Amazon, because I'm going to let them go out in the rain and ship it to everybody.
Yeah, that's the worst part of writing a book, isn't it? Having to go ship all that.
Yeah, that, or like when I go out and speak, my poor husband, God love him, I was speaking at an event in Scottsdale. And I'm like, I forgot to ship the books. And he's like, what does that mean? I'm like, that means we're loading them in my suitcase. And the guy at American's like, you're overweight. It's going to be $75. I'm like trying to throw my credit card up on the thing. Like, let's go. Let's get on the plane. Not my husband. Hell no. He is unpacking all of our suitcases.
Oh,
And,
man.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
So we ended up not paying heavy bag fees though. God love him.
I saw that on Facebook or
Facebook.
Instagram.
So then I end up going into the airport, and I end up having to, he's like, oh, buy me a sandwich before we get in the plane. The sandwich was $22. I'm like, okay, there's something here. I mean, $22 sandwich to save 75, but anyways, whatever.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
So you're and I won't say that one thing. You hate it when I say that, so I won't say it. Somebody else said that to me originally, by the way. I didn't say that. That you're the such and such and female version of somebody to the auto industry.
Oh.
You don't know.
I wish, you know who I wish it was?
Who?
And I don't think anyone's ever said it, but it would be my dream, Mary Barra. Love her.
No, somebody said somebody told me that you're the female version of Grant Cardone.
Yes. Yes, I've heard that. Hi, Grant, if you're watching.
Yeah. So, didn't you? I heard you say the other day.
I'm going to have the 11X jet, Grant, just so you know, babe. If you're out there watching it, 11X, Lisa Copeland.
I love that. So like you've been in the auto business for a while, and I'm kind of curious where, and I know that you've set world records, and I want to talk a little bit about that, but let's back up to crashing your mom's beautiful 12 XJS.
Yes.
And by the way, I used to own a detail business in Atlanta, Georgia, and I detailed a few of those XJSs and drove them. And oh my gosh, they're amazing.
Because I think it was like the first V12 car that came out, at a production level. Maybe a Corvette, I don't know. But anyways, it was one of the few handmade car. Yeah, my parents were pissed, to say the least. Yeah.
So from there, what is it, and when was it that got you going in the car business? Where did that happen?
Pretty funny. So I'm a freshman in college at the time, and it's in Dallas, and I'm driving down. Everything in my life has happened around a car wreck, which I hope that's not the way I die. So I ended up wrecking my car behind, who is now my husband's house. He had just graduated from college, and I was a freshman in college, so do the math. I was still 17, and I was underage. So anyways, and so I went up and I knocked on his door, and I'm like, hey, I need help. I just wrecked my car. I was in fashion college, so I was selling skirts for a living at the mall. I was putting my mascara on, and I rear-ended his neighbor. So this is like the days before. This was in '83. So it's the days before cell phones and all that stuff. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. So everything I've done, seriously, literally, has been around a car wreck. So
but that's how you met your husband.
That's how I met my husband, but that's not how I got in the car business. Then fast forward, I had another car wreck, and I totaled my car. I know. I'm telling you.
What the heck? Remind me to never ride in a vehicle with you.
I haven't had one in quite a long time. That's the good news. And I had another car wreck, and I wrecked my car, and my mom and dad, of course, were giving me money in college and, paying my expenses and paying my car insurance. But like any good fashion major, I was buying clothes. I was working. I had a side hustle in college. I was modeling at the apparel mart. So I was able to buy samples, because back then I was sample size, right? Weren't we all at 19? And and so I hadn't paid my car insurance. And so I wrecked my car, I totaled it, I called the insurance company. They're like, yeah, we haven't gotten a check. I'm like, oh, it's in the mail. He's like, it hasn't been lost for 5 months. No.
Oh, dear Lord.
Yeah, so I called my dad, and I'm like, hey, Dad, guess what? I need a new car. My dad's like, no, figure it out, kid. And those were words that, it's a very short synopsis to a long story, but those were words that defined my life. And so I was dating my now husband then at the time. He had graduated from college. He was selling cars, and he said, you need to sell cars because back then you got a free car to drive. You got a demo.
Right.
So I, as luck would have it, he introduced me to the guys at the #1 domestic dealership in the country, Jim Johnson Chevrolet. I had to interview like 7 times.
Wow.
Because they're like, no, you sell skirts. You're a girl. We're not interested. And So finally, they gave me a job selling cars. And what's funny is some of those people still today, they're like, oh, yeah, we were the reason that she's so successful was we launched her. I'm like, no, you guys, baby alligators in my desk. You tried to not hire me. No. You're the reason I've survived, but not why I was successful.
Right.
So, all you guys at Jim Johnson out there, quit saying that stuff in the press.
Wow. So what is the and this is not even on here as one of my questions, but you said something that makes me want to ask, what is the number one contributing factor to you being successful? Because I've seen pictures of your house, and no, what
just a house.
I know, but what do you feel is the number one contributing factor?
I think it's because once I go all in on something, I'm all in. And I, just like you, Ken, I love to work. Yeah. Like I'm going to be that 80-year-old in the leather skirt and I'm still going to be working and grinding it out. So, there's some people like, I don't like to work. Well, I don't like to work if it isn't something I love to do. So when I was a car dealer for the longest time, I loved to do it. So I was all in. But, it's one of those things that when you quit loving, when you quit loving what you do, quit doing it.
Yeah.
And right now I'm just on a great trajectory. I've got amazing clients. I get to travel around the world literally and doing what I love. And so it isn't work. And so that's what I would tell people out there. If you can't find an underlying purpose as to why you're doing what you're doing, then figure out something else to do. Or if you're working with people or working for people that bring you down and they don't root for you, get the hell out sooner than later.
I agree with that 1,000%. 1,000%.
Yep.
So Lisa Patrick asked a question, and normally I would wait till the end, but I think it fits in perfectly here. What is the biggest stumbling block or setback you've kind of experienced in your?
Lots of them. So I would want to know if she wants to know about my automotive career or if she wants to know about my career in the mortgage business or whatever. But I think the biggest setback I've had is, I'm sitting here thinking about it because there's been a lot. But
it doesn't have anything to do with maybe wrecking a car, right?
No. I think it is overshooting things sometimes, right? And setting myself up for something bigger than what we can produce at that moment in time. Yeah. And I'm kind of known for that, going out and just making crazy bets or audacious bets. And sometimes I know that I need to reel it back a little bit. And I've kind of gotten to the mindset of, you don't have to be number one to be significant. And so, just setting the goals sometimes too high.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, some of them have worked out great, obviously. That's why I'm sitting where I am today. But some of them, I've wasted valuable time and I've really had to ask myself, am I chasing this because it matters or am I chasing it because it's ego? Yeah. And so that's because what I've learned along the way is that, fame lasts when you do something big for about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then, you end up setting the bar so high, which I was talking to a car dealer friend of mine this morning. And I said, you're number one in the world. Where is there to go from here? And he was like, exactly. And I'm like, so now you just have to maintain it without everybody just kissing your feet saying you're so great because they expect you to maintain it now. Right.
Right.
And so I think that, for everybody out there, don't worry about your name on a plaque where it's at, this is so anti Lisa Copeland, people who knew me back when I ran car dealerships, but, go for what makes you personally satisfied. Do it with people that root for you. Do it with people that you like to work with.
Yeah. Because
I'm here to tell you, when you work with people you don't like to work with, life sucks. And so it just does. It's miserable to show up every day and just know that people aren't rooting for you. So, yeah.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you. So, Jill, my wife, have you ever even met her on camera or?
No, but I need to because I know she's fabulous.
She is amazing. So she wrote these questions and I want to read this one because she's a writer. So sometimes they're a little longer, but she says technology has played a big role in shaping the sales process. specifically in the auto business in the last 10 years. How are dealerships navigating these changes, and how do salespeople need to sell differently? Wow. Holy crap.
God, she's killing me right now. Good thing I finished my whole thing of my Starbucks. Obviously I am not a technology guru. That's not my superpower, but we did employ a lot of cutting edge technology. Yeah. But the thing I want to warn everybody about, I don't care what you're selling, is that we're still in the people business. And don't ever think for a second, it doesn't matter what it is. Don't ever think for a second a piece of technology is going to replace the fact that as the greatest salespeople in the world, you've got to know how to connect with people. You've got to be an influencer within your industry, and you've got to know connection, because that's never going to go away. I mean, throw all the, video chats and all the stuff out there that I think is fantastic.
Yeah.
And every single day I try to learn something new. And then if I don't know how to use it, I call you.
You do.
Right. I do.
I love getting those calls though.
Yeah, the panic calls. But with that being said, she's so right. But if you're a salesperson out there, an entrepreneur, a business owner, whatever it may be, don't lose you. Don't lose that human touch, that human connection. Because I don't care what survey you read and where it is, people still want to be connected to. My good friend Brian Benstock, top dealer in the country, he talks about the future of retail as frictionless. I believe that, but it doesn't mean, so friction meaning from a transactional standpoint, but it doesn't mean that it's people-less, that it's relationship-less.
Right.
So don't lose that human touch, because that will always win over technology any day of the week. And I will challenge anybody out there in the technology world to come against me on that one. I believe it to myself.
That's why I'm in the technology world, and quite frankly, that's why I think that's why we get along so well, because I've never tried to use technology to replace the human connection.
You can't.
And there's so many people lazy. I call them lazy ass salespeople that
are
out there.
I'm going to throw you a text and then hope that you come back and buy the car from me. Right. Now, QuickPage and BombBomb and some of these great ones that are out there.
Yeah.
We have friends at both places.
Yeah.
It kind of makes East versus, it's almost like Eastern and Western medicine, so I'm going to send a text with a video. That's super efficient. Okay. I like it.
Yes.
I don't think it replaces picking up the phone though and making a phone call. I think and that's old school of me, but when I have a big contract and I deal with them every day, I'm on the phone with that CMO or that VP of sales, selling what I do. I'm not sending him or her an email or a text and hoping that I get a $200,000 contract with their company because of a text or an email. I am on the phone. I'm face to face on a Skype like this, and I let them know that I'm going to be present, I'm engaged, and I'm involved.
That's right. I totally agree. So I want to back up a little bit and just talk about and how long have we been on? We've only been on 26 minutes. I forgot we spent all that time trying to get on. But yeah, so you at some point, and this is not in the questions my wife wrote out, but I don't think she knows all this about you. I do, however. At some point in your, because I know you started in auto sales, right? In the auto,
I did,
right? And then at some point you ended up taking over as general manager / owner.
I was the managing partner.
Okay.
So yes, I was the general manager, managing partner. And what that means in car world is that I was the minority owner.
Okay. So what happened in that business? The good stuff.
Yeah, right. No, it was great. It was, I'm forever grateful to the team that I had, because they were wonderful and they worked their hearts out for me and for the brand. And of course, the brand Fiat Alfa Romeo itself. In the 4.5 years I spent on the National Dealer Council with the top dealers in the country, they were great mentors and they're still great friends. And the executives at FCA who I learned so much from. So I don't have a bad thing to say about any of it. I'm grateful. It was just time to move on.
Right.
It was almost like I had rung all the bells personally that I could ring. And when Automotive News, every 5 years, they named the top 100 women in automotive. And I was lucky enough to make that list with people like Mary Barra, who I got to meet, by the way. I'm obsessed with her. All of that being said, for someone like me, it was like, okay, check. And I left it in good hands with my number 2.
Right.
And they're still doing very, very well. And, it was time to move on and really chase the dream I wanted to chase when I hired a speaking coach 10 years ago, which was to be on the stages and tell the stories and, doing what I love to do and just having freedom, I just got booked. I mean, I got 3 bookings yesterday. Anyways, I've got so many agents, it seems like now. But anyways, it was like I'm on with one and the other, and I'm like, okay, let's go. And like in November, I'm triple booked. So I referred one of them out to another speaker friend of mine. And then I'm literally speaking in Las Vegas. I've got to speak in the Cayman Islands the next day. So I told my agent, I'm like, okay, I speak twice that day in Vegas. I will be on an all-night flight to the Caymans, and I will be on stage at noon the next day in the Cayman Islands. And it's for a big auto association.
Wow.
And the other one is for an OEM. So, and I'm like, but you know what? I'm going to do what I love to do. And so, and to me, that isn't work.
Are you interviewing anybody right now for like a bag boy? Because I would like to submit my resume. I'm kidding. So
I have a lot of bags. You probably don't want that job.
Yeah, but hey, let's see. Vegas to the Cayman Islands, I can handle the bags.
Yeah, so, and all of it, I'm getting paid, and I'm doing what I love to do with the people I love to do it with.
That is so awesome. So
yeah,
that's
I'm great.
what I'm talking about. Like when I say Lisa Copeland is a freaking badass, that's what I mean right there. You look,
But Ken, it wasn't easy. I'm going to tell you, I mean, so many people, when I left, I really thought, I hope Grant or someone on his team's watching, I really thought, oh man, I'm going for it. I'm going to be the next Cardone. Day one, I'm going to be booked. And did I get booked? Yes. But I'm 2 years and 2 months out now. And now I'm starting to see the huge wave between television and all the stuff I'm doing. But it took 2 years of just nose to the grindstone to hit the pinnacle where I feel like I'm climbing to now.
Yep.
So it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen just because you think everyone's going to know who you are.
Right.
I've worked harder the last two and a half years and more hours than I ever did as a car dealer. But it's like I'm building my empire. And that's what I want to tell people. Like, it's not easy, but if you're consistent and if you never give up, just like you,
yep.
And, you got to work hard every single day and live what you do every single day. And people like you and me do.
Yep.
We're always on film. We're always talking about it. I dream about my next book. I mean, it's what I do.
Yep. I know. Mm-hmm. I love your passion. It's number one, you're contagious. Like your energy is freaking like insane. And I said that in my post last night. I'm like, this woman's energy is ridiculous. Like, one of my business partners called me this morning because we've got a couple of calls, and she called me and she said, Lisa, I'm on Facebook and you've got this and you've got this and you've got this and we've got this call. Now, how are you going to fit that in? And I go, are you in my Google Calendar? She's like, no, I'm on your Facebook page. She's like, whoever show you're on at 10, like he's like a super fan. And I go, yeah, no, he's like, I'm his super fan. Like she was laughing. And I go, I haven't even, I didn't really read it. And she's like, oh yeah. And she's like, I want to buzz into that show and tell everyone the truth. But
like, Flash, don't do that.
I think about that, I've been, I'm very high energy as well, but man, there's times when I get freaking tired and
sure.
It's like, but I think that, people see this little frame of life and they think, oh my God, she's always on. But that's not even real. That's not possible. But
yeah, it's not.
But when you're on, and I love it.
Yes. I think you have to show up well when you show up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a good friend that said that they called me one day. I love the dude, Charlie Chena. He's like, dude, stop doing live streams in t-shirts. I said, what? He goes, you need to dress for success, bro. And I'm like, oh,
I agree with Charlie. I like that. I said, I agree with Charlie, although Hank Norman, who you had on your show, who's my agent, he would tell you to be in t-shirts. I mean, he's literally said to me before, he's like, do you put rollers in your hair or do you do this? I'm like, yeah. He's like, then you need to be on camera. I'm like, Hank, we're going to draw the line somewhere, babe. I'm never going to be on camera with rollers in my hair or no makeup or whatever, right? I'm kind of the Charlie Chena mentality, but the experts like my agent Hank Norman at 2 Market Media, he would tell you just show up.
And I look, I do a lot of Facebook Lives just, around the house and you know, and in a transparent kind of way, but not a lot anymore. Like I won't do an interview like this or without being, you know, dressed for it. So, but let me
Because
ask
you
you
never
this.
know who's watching.
You never know. That's right. And I've discovered there are some people that have watched some of my live streams. I found out later they watched and like I'm like that was literally a giant that was watching my stuff, and I had no
Yeah,
idea. A giant
right.
had no
Right.
idea. So
Right. You never know.
got to pay attention. But so what trends do you see coming in business that salespeople need to watch out for?
Well, I'll give you a great one.
Okay.
A friend of mine who is the number 2 used car dealer in the country, his name's Glenn Lundy, and he's out in Paris, Kentucky. He's number 2 used car dealer in the nation in a town of 9,000 people. And I was talking to him yesterday and I said, hey, just for the record, we were just chit chatting about something. I said, hey, what's your ad budget every month? You know, I'm curious as a former car dealer. I know what I spent.
Yeah.
And he told me, and it's about what, I mean, so he's selling about 800 to 900 cars a month. I was selling about 150 cars a month. We had the same ad budget. And I said, wow. And he said, Lisa, it isn't about the ad budgets anymore. He goes, we cut TV. We cut back on radio. He goes, car dealers that are still doing that, they're missing it. One, I mean, our business has increased 800%, and it's because of my consistency on social media. So I would tell you, he's a great story when it comes to, or a great testimony when it comes to social media.
Yep.
But it gets down to consistency. Like you can't come on tomorrow and then not come on for 4 days. And the hardest thing for me when Two Market Media took me on, when they said, you've got to be on every day. And I'm just like, people are going to get sick of me. And they're like, the people that are sick of you aren't going to watch, but then you're going to bring on new ones. And I hate to say it, Hank and Steve, you were right. Right. And, you know, because they just love to say, you know, I'm right. My New York agents.
Yeah.
And, anyways, and so it's true. And so I think for salespeople, it is building your own personal brand. And if you work for a dealer or an employer that doesn't let you do that, go find another one.
Yep.
Because they don't understand where the markets are moving. And there's a lot of employers, and I just have to talk about the car dealers, but you know, other too, that, you know, the person with the name on the sign is pretty jealous. Like, and I've interviewed a lot of these people and they're like, yeah, my boss is just like so jealous. And I'm like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, then go find a different boss, because you've got to build your own personal brand. And, you know, Sean Hayes, a mutual friend of mine and yours, you know, he's a car salesman. Amy Banner, hashtag Just a Girl Selling Cars. I mean, we've seen this. And most importantly, Ali Rita, who broke the world sales record. He took out Joe Girard, the world's greatest salesman, the 1973 record, right? And so that's how you get known in today's world.
Yep.
Is a personal brand and social media.
If I were to go sell cars, number one, I think I could go up against some of the best and do well. But it would be because I know how to use social media. And you know, so I totally agree with you. Like, you got to pay attention to social media. So
the fact that this car dealer has been able to cut out, you know, half of his ad budget every month, right, and increase sales 800%.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, a lot of ad agencies out there, they're fighting it, but ad agencies are dying on the vine. People don't watch TV anymore. They don't listen to the radio. And so it's all about social media.
I agree with you 1,000,000,000,000%. I was on a flight from Vegas to Columbus and Frontier Airlines. I don't know if you've ever flown that or not.
But yeah, it's tragic.
But it's one of the only airlines out of Vegas with a direct flight to Columbus, Ohio. So
Sure. You wanted one of those $49 flights.
It was $39. I was like, are you shit? Like, really? It's only $39?
Oh my God, but the seats are made out of cardboard. It's $50 a bag to get on the flight. My purse cost me money the one time I flew them. I'm like, they're like, oh, it's bigger than. I'm like, it's Chanel. And then, so literally the guy's like, well, then you shouldn't mind paying the $50. I'm like, okay, I'm never flying you guys again, ever.
Well, I paid the upgrade and flew their first class.
You're lying. They do not have first class.
They do. They have the first 2 rows or something like that, or the seats lean back like half an inch or something.
Oh.
If you fly in it without in their whatever they call it, regular, the seats don't move
They don't move. They're hard. Oh, it is a tragic
but
airline.
anyway,
Sorry, finish your story.
So I was sitting next to this guy, and the middle seat was empty. And finally, after about 2 hours, we struck up a conversation. And I said, well, what do you do? And he asked me what I do. I said, I wrote a book and blah, blah, blah. And I help people with social media, websites, yada, yada, yada. And he's like, I own a car dealership. And I said, really?
Oh.
He's like,
you're on Frontier?
A used car dealership in near West Virginia, here in Ohio. And I said, well, what do you guys do for social media? He goes, well, we got Facebook. And I go, well, what else do you do?
Frontier, dude.
Yeah. So, but it just kind of, because I said, well, how many people in your dealership, salespeople, sell a car, become friends immediately with that customer, tag them on Facebook, and promote, tag your dealership, do live streams, walk in the inventory. I've never sold cars in my life, not once, but if I was a car salesperson, I'd be freaking going live all the time, tagging the dealership. I'd be walking the inventory. I'd be creating opportunities for myself instead of sitting around waiting on them.
That's what the great ones do.
Yeah, so it surprises me though that this guy's been in business for 36 years or 35.
That's the problem.
I know.
That's the problem.
It's insane though.
There's stuck.
So many people
They're stuck.
That need help. But so let's talk about real quick. Talk a little bit about your book and if somebody does go out and get your book, what can they expect out of it? What can they expect from it? Because I gave your book away.
I have to send you some more. I know that you bought that one, but I'm going to send you.
Envy is on the stream right now. I gave her your book. She was here visiting, and she's
hi Renee.
She's like, oh my God, I want that book. So
yeah, she liked the shoes on the cover, but so it's 10 ways to rise above the status quo, and my co-author is just a badass. Also, she's one of the top women in aviation. And she sits on several national and international boards for aviation, and she's a jet broker, and she's amazing. And the one thing, both of us running through male-dominated industries, we've always had to do more, do it bigger, do it better than our male counterparts, and it is what it is. And so we wrote a book about it, and 10 ways, the 10 things that we did, that we believe that we did to get to the tops of our industries. And then the first chapter, and I'll just leave it there, is purpose, right? Why do you do what you do? What is your underlying purpose? And, for me personally, it was to revolutionize the auto industry. I came back after, I came back, I guess it was 7-8 years ago, and I'd been in the mortgage business. And so I came back with a fresh set of eyes, and I was like, ugh, gross, this sucks, right? And so, and then I started seeing the lack of respect for female consumers industry-wide. And so I really, I declared the common enemy was the industry itself and not respecting female consumers and not having women work in the dealership. And so many people in the industry told me, they said, be careful, Lisa, with what you do. Be careful. The industry's going to come against you. Be careful. La, 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 la. And I said, you know what? Bring it on. Because what I know is that the female consumers will stand with me.
Yeah.
And they still stand with me this day. I mean, all these women that I sold cars to over the years, I mean, they don't even buy a car without calling me, contacting me. I think I negotiated like 26 car deals last month, friends, former clients, whatever. And, and helping them still. And that's what we were known for. And so what is your underlying purpose? And that was the number one thing in our book. And now my underlying purpose is, to build a life that I love and to show other people how to do it.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Wow.
Yeah.
So I definitely need to read your book. I need.
Well, I'm going to send you some. I told you I would a while back, and you know me, I'm a flake. But I am home next week.
I'll promote the heck out of it. Go out in the rain today and send me some. I'm just kidding.
Right? Yeah, it won't be today, but I'll send some out to you. Yeah. It's a good book, and it is, and we've gotten a lot of national recognition on it because. It really is because, it is okay. Mediocrity is not a bad thing. And I need to say that for the record. A lot of people like to live in the middle. They're comfortable. It's all that they want in life. And that's cool. because they're happy, they're satisfied, they're fulfilled. This book is for people that are in the middle and they want to go to the next level, right? They want to go from the middle class to the world class. And I'll tell you this, once you make the commitment to go to the world class, once you make the commitment to crush mediocrity, to take a chance, to fear less, to do all the things that we talk about, the world's your oyster, because then you go from a very crowded space in competition to now all I compete with, and I know all you compete with too, is just the top 1%. Who is my competitor on a contract? It's Grant. To that level, Gary V, whatever, right? And so I would rather compete with somebody at that level all day long because they're excellent and it makes me better,
right?
Than have to go out and compete with the masses that are just mediocre.
Who'd you say, Grant?
Well, I was just trying to give an example.
Yeah,
I have not actually gone against Grant on a contract or anything like that, but
I hear you.
But it's true,
yeah,
right? I mean, when I look at doing what I do and they say, Lisa, it's between you and this person, it's usually what I call a one percenter.
But didn't Grant send you a text message the other day asking for something?
He did. Yeah, he sent me a text and told me to send him a 50-second deal about why I love being an entrepreneur. So anyways, I've been looking on Instagram, Grant, and it's not up yet, but just saying.
Come on, man.
Yeah, it is about that inner circle, and I'm not saying I run around with Grant. I don't, but we know each other. And like I said, I've always said, I've got huge respect for that guy because he outworks everyone else.
He does.
Outworks you. And that is, to me, and that's the same thing I do. And I was talking to my guys at 2 Market yesterday, and they said, Lisa, you outwork everybody. And I go, I do. And I will. And I always will. I did it in the car business. I did it in the mortgage business. And that's why I always hit the pinnacle.
Yep.
And in this business, doing what I do now, I'm going to outwork everybody.
Yep.
And the only person I can see that I probably can't physically outwork because he just never stops is Cardone. And, huge respect. But, my plane's going to say 11X. Just because.
Oh, so, and then, this isn't on here either, but I want to ask it, just so you can talk a little bit about it, but
sure.
If you can, I don't know if you can or not. But do you have any plans for any new books?
Yes, actually.
Oh, you do?
Yes. Gee whiz. I wonder how you found that out. Yes, we have a big book proposal up at one of the top literary agents in the country right now, and we're tweaking it. And it's interesting, when you work at that level, and this one is like probably the top literary agent in the country.
Wow.
And how she really makes me dive deeper because she's like, Lisa, go bigger. It's a bigger idea. And I'm like, this is pretty big, and it's The Art of the Big Sell is the name of the book also.
Wow.
And but it is about building a movement, a personal movement, because everything in life right now, everything, whether, it galvanizes people. And, you think about, all the protests that go on around the world. Whatever it may be, it doesn't matter. But, these are people that come together because of a common enemy, and they may only be friends for that day. They may have that passion for that one day, but it unites people from all around of all different walks of life. Well, you take that same mentality into business, like what I did in the car business, which the common enemy was the industry itself. And that galvanized female consumers to root for me. When I'd have an event, 200 women would show up. They're like, we don't even like your car, but I'm going to send somebody to you that wants to buy one. And to this day, they're still galvanized with me in the fact that, they might be buying a Chevy or whatever, a Chrysler, whatever it is. And they call me, they're like, okay, Lise, here's what I want. Where do I buy the car? And so, building a movement. And I believe that. And I believe that's the only way that you can personally be successful is to have people like you, Ken, that I know are in my tribe, and that we're all part of the same movement. And it's important in business to be able to sustain and retain top talent keep your customers and drive down your advertising costs.
Yeah.
And a great example of that is my good friend Glenn Lundy,
yep.
Out in Paris, Kentucky.
He's like 4 hours from me. I'm driving down.
You have to go meet him. He is just top notch.
He is.
And so, all of that being said, so yes, that's what my new book's about. She loves it. She says it's going to go New York Times, but
bestseller.
Yeah, we hope. Yeah,
yeah.
We're working hard to that. But all of that being said, it's like dig deeper, dig deeper, dig deeper.
Yeah.
And so it really just makes you, and it's been so good for me because now I understand. I can go into any business and I can say what you're missing today is, an underlying purpose or a movement or a mission that inspires people to spend money with you. It inspires people to bring you into their circle, and it inspires people to stay with you, because talent today, I don't care what industry it is, it's hard to hire and retain top talent.
It's very, very difficult. And I think, and that's something Glenn Lundy's done well. And I saw your interview with him, and holy crap. So, and I know you have a really big interview coming up today as well on your show, The Art of the Big Sell.
Yes.
So, listen, I've got, like I said, I've gotten to know you very, very well. We've helped each other, and you are quite possibly one of the most amazing people that I've ever known in my life. And I really genuinely mean that. Like, you're incredible. So, like, and my wife's on here saying, she definitely has star power. I don't.
Oh, thank you.
Do you have Facebook open?
I don't, because I'm scared I'd get the feedback that we get on mine. So I will go back in afterwards, and I will answer and talk to everybody.
Share it out, because like your audience doesn't even know that we're on right now.
Yes.
With this software, it doesn't automatically tag you. So.
Yeah, anyway, no, I will absolutely share it when we get off.
Yeah. So how would you how do you want people to connect with you?
Well, my website is lisacopeland.com, and I'm on social media. My fan page is a keynote speaker, or I guess it's at keynote speaker Lisa Copeland. Yeah. I think my personal one's pretty full, but you can follow me on that, which is Lisa Colgrove Copeland. Yeah. And Twitter, Instagram, you name it, I'm out there.
Yeah, just type in Lisa Copeland.
Just tweeting and posting away.
Well, you're doing a fantastic job, and I mean, I think we all have those moments where we doubt whether what we're doing is making an impact or not. And I can tell you from my personal experience with you, it's definitely made an impact in my life in all positive ways. So. Thank you. And I watch you closely. I love what you're putting out and what you're doing. So
I just want to encourage other people. When I asked, and this is something your listeners should do at some point. I asked all my friends one day, my close tribe, and I said, if you had to name one superpower for me, what would it be? And I thought everyone's going to go passion, because you're kind of a psycho when you get onto something. And 90% of them came back and said, you root for your friends. You are somebody who absolutely will stand in our corner, and you root for us. And, and that's who I am. And so, I mean, I root for people in general. I've been that underdog, and I've been the one that nobody's rooting for. Starting way back early in my career, when I was the only female salesperson of 90, when they were putting baby alligators in my desk, they were rooting against me all the way up until my recent automotive, career. Because once you start hitting the top and some other things, people that used to root for you don't root for you anymore. And so it's just been very interesting. And I thought, I'm never going to be that person, because I think that there's room for everybody to be successful, to be famous, whatever it is you want. I want to be able to support you, because I don't think it's going to diminish my light at all.
It's only going to lift yours up. And that's
I wish everybody in the world would get that.
I know. I know. There's a lot of people out there that think that if they they have to drive other people down to get to the top, and that's just the opposite. Actually, it's the opposite. And that's a perfect segue into something I was going to actually give you props for, because I was going to say, like, Lisa literally sends me a text message almost every day saying, "Hey, I referred you to so and so. I referred you to so and so." I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to have to hire people just to keep up with your referrals. So. I am so grateful for that. That's just who you are, though. I said to her last night on a text message, I said, holy crap, you're like my number one salesperson. She's just like, that's how I roll. And that was it.
And that's for your platform knowledge link. And so I'll put that out there. But I got to get mine set up first, because I'm thinking, okay, this is going to happen to me. I'm going to send you everybody I know, which is a lot. And then you're going to be like, Lisa, I got 15 ahead of you. So all my courses are done. They're baked. We filmed them in New York. They're fantastic. The Art of the Big Sell and Sales Masters, the top 1%. And we're putting them on this fantastic platform that Ken has. And we're going to sell seat licenses to the Sales Masters Club, which I'm super excited about. And I got to get rolling. I got to get my deal done with you. So,
well, I gotta say one thing. Hey, Charlie Chena, how you doing? He just popped on, but
hi, Charlie.
Laura Peterson just said this video just set the tone for my entire weekend. So inspiring and motivating. Planning for success. See, that's
good.
what this is about.
Go, girl.
That's what I mean. That's what this is about. And Laura lives just outside of Austin. So
Really?
she's awesome. I love that girl. She's amazing.
What does Laura do?
She does Lavelle Thrive. She has the Thrive business, and she's incredible. I love her. She's amazing. So just talked to her a couple days ago. But anyway, so yeah, Lisa, I can't thank you enough. You are amazing, and I know you always feel like, God, should I really call him and tell him I have this issue? But like you,
no, I'm kind of over that now. Nope. I got you on speed dial. I'm good with it.
I love that though. I love getting those calls. Like, yes, I get to help Lisa. So,
literally, what like I'll have guests and we're live, and I'm like, okay, something's not working. Okay, I'm gonna put you all on mute right now, and we're gonna call Ken.
Yeah, Glenn Lundy. Yeah. It was right before Glenn Lundy, I think. Yeah, that's funny. So anyway, well, listen, if there, you know this already, if there's ever anything I can do for you, you hit me up, and hopefully you get a bunch of book sales and a bunch of new followers. And
it's all going to be good.
If you're
I'm grateful.
Not following Lisa Copeland, you got a mental deficiency.
Ouch. So all I'll say is follow me. I try to keep it fun, but I definitely keep it real.
You do. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming on here. Really do.
All right, Ken.
You rock.
Thanks for having me. Bye, everybody. Take care.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate you. Have a great weekend.